everybody, it's me, Tom. All right, here it is. We're finally gonna do it. I know. I've been baking bread, I've been posting bread, I've been doing what people call bread porn for a long time. And you've been begging me, how can I make it? You've inspired me, you said, well, I'm trying to get it going, my wife is trying to get it going. But Tom, what are your secrets? Well, I finally got it together. I have a camera, I've got my stuff, I have my friend Maya. We are going to show you how to make this. Yes, you can make this. I can make this. It's an easy thing to do. All you have to do is carve out a little time in your life. It's not an easy thing. I'm not saying that. It's not a thing that can be made in a couple seconds. I'm not saying that either. What I am saying is that if you put this bread baking into your life, you are going to have a better life. We really don't have a plan. We're just going to show you how I bake bread, and then you can take all the stuff and we'll spend a lot of time together. Maybe we'll even have guests. We don't know what's going to happen. But this is the introductory video, and that means that we have to start in the beginning. The first thing you have to do to make sourdough bread is you need a sourdough starter. Yeah, I know. Everybody gets intimidated. What is a sourdough starter? It's basically a glob. It is a living organism filled with flour, water, salt, and yeast. I keep them in these mason jars. It smells good. It's like this weird kind of like, it's almost like paint. It smells like paint. Basically, the way the bread was first made, there was no yeast. There was flour and there was water, and they would make this flat stuff, and it would just come out like this flat bread. We're talking thousands and thousands of years ago. And then somebody, somewhere, they think in Egypt, put flour and water in a bowl, and it started to bubble up. It started to become active. Why? Well, there's yeast that flies around us all the time. It's just floating around in the atmosphere. It's weird. And it finds the flour and water and starts to eat it, and then farts it out and makes gas bubbles. And that becomes active and it starts to grow, and that's why you get bread. Instead of just some flat thing, like if you made bread with no yeast and just put flour and water together, it would just be this flat pancake thing. But if you have yeast in it, now we have dry yeast and all this other stuff, that's what makes it active, that's what makes it porous, that's what makes it expand, that's what makes bread. And they figured that out, and we've never turned back. Basically, you can add yeast. There's tons of bread that you can make where you just add dry yeast to it, and it'll make good bread. But with sourdough bread, this also adds flavor. This is, if you have bread that's made from this, it's going to be really different. A little side note, by the way. I thought when I was eating bread my entire life that I was eating bread. And it turns out that's not the case. Bread that you get in the supermarket, even like these like crunchy looking whole wheat breads with like a wooden sign, it says all natural and things like that. I don't know, 30 ingredients, 25 ingredients, that's not bread. It's not bread. Bread is flour, water, salt, and yeast. That's it. Flour, water, salt, and yeast. That's it. If you're adding anything else to it, that's why people are starting to get sick. This is a whole nother thing. We could do a whole nother, Maya, we could do a whole thing about just people being sick and thinking bread is evil. It is not. What's evil is what people change bread into, and it made people really sick. We'll do a whole nother episode on that. That's gonna be a good one. So we need flour, water, salt, which is, it's over there, and yeast. This is our yeast. This is the yeast we're gonna use to make sourdough bread. Where should we start? You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's start off by telling people exactly what they're gonna need for this journey. Because there's nothing worse when I watch videos and you're like, oh, I'm gonna cook this thing, and then you realize halfway through you don't have something and you gotta run around town. And we're gonna start off by showing you some of the stuff you should have around before you start this whole process. First of all, you need a little bowl. This is 2 quarts. This is a little plastic thing. You can get it on Amazon or anywhere. You can even get like a smaller bowl. It doesn't have to be even that precise. But once you get into it, you're gonna, I get as excited about getting this as I do like anything else in the world. When I was younger, I would be more excited about alcohol or girls. Now I'm excited about these. A small one for your sourdough starter, that's a good thing. In-betweeny size, this is for when we're actually making the bread. Well, I'll show you that later, where you put the actual dough in there. And then this is the big mama. This one is so exciting. Look at the size of it. I know it looks a little grimy because I've been using it for years, but this is where you're actually mixing the stuff. So you need this 3 levels of containers. Some people say go square with the one that's this size. This is 6 quarts, but it's fine. Any shape is fine. But you need really these 3 sizes: a starter size, big mama, and the in-betweeny. Get those, and then come back and watch the rest of the video. You're gonna need a scale. This is super, super important. A digital scale. Mine looks like hell because it is disgusting. You're gonna see there's the thing of dealing with sourdough starter and flour. It gets all over everything. It sticks to everything, and I kind of take pride in it. You remember, like when you see artists and they have like a lot of paint on their pants, and you're like, wow, that guy looks cool. He looks like he smokes cigarettes and does art. Doesn't care if it's paint on his shoes. That's how I feel about baking bread. If I go and do a show, like if I go to the Comedy Store and I've got flour on my shirt, I feel like an artist. You're gonna need a scale, a digital scale, and because everything's by weight. Flour. We're gonna talk a lot about flour, but this is not an ad, but King Arthur flour, all-purpose flour, is a good place to start. This is great stuff. It's good flour, it's healthy, it's fine, just get it, it works, all right? All-purpose flour. We're gonna get into wheat flours and all the rest of it, but this is basically what you need. This is a big one, get ready. You're gonna need a spoon. You're gonna need a spoon. I'm not gonna tell you where to get it because it's a spoon. Mason jar or something like that to hold your sourdough starter once you create it. It's a good thing to have, and it looks artsy and cool. It looks like, oh, that guy lives in the woods sometimes and probably grows his own hemp and makes it into clothes. Mason jars just, they look cool. And if you go to like a cool liberal arts school, that's usually what you drink out of, because nobody wants to drink out of plastic anymore, so they carry mason jars around. Right, Maya?
That's true.
You went to one of those. Okay, so you've got your containers, you've got a measuring cup, that's a good thing to have. You got your scale, you got your spoon, you got your flour. That's it, we can start. Oh no, wait, ooh, okay, this is gonna be a big one. This is a Dutch oven. Now, you can get these on eBay, you can get used ones, you can get, what's the cast iron. You can get a cast iron one. They're not cheap, but you need it because we're not dealing with big commercial ovens. When people bake bread in these great bread shops of all the heroes that I've discovered in my journey learning about bread, they've got these big ovens, and the biggest thing is that they can get super hot and they can inject steam. We need to inject steam in our bread, and the way we do that is by putting it into these Dutch ovens. I know, there's a lot of Dutch oven jokes. We're not gonna go there. You need one of these. Okay, step 1. You need sourdough starter. You need a starter.